Let me first just thank all the people from StrongAmericaNow. You have put together a great team on a great cause. What we have seen in Washington, D.C. is an absolute lack of leadership out of the United States on the issue of dealing with a country that is spending way beyond its means and mortgaging the future of our society. And what we've seen in StrongAmericaNow is a man who just snuck up behind me, Mike George, who has decided that if there's no leadership in Washington, well, we'll have leadership from across America. I've been to 68 counties in this state. I was, by the way, I was at a party the other night at one of these barn parties, and I ran into Chuck Grassley. And I served with Chuck for many, many years, and Chuck was very proud of the fact that he went to every one of Iowa's 99 counties every single year, and I'm sure you all know that. And so I thought, well, here I am. I see Grassley. I haven't seen him for months. And I walk up to him, and before I even said hello, I got right in his face and said, 62 counties. And without missing a beat, he said, 85. And I'd have been at the other 14 had they not canceled the July 4th break. So Chuck is on the watch and working hard. But you folks are working hard too. In every one of those 68 counties that I've been to, I've seen a Strong America Now t-shirt. I've seen people who are concerned about the future of our country, who want to see government run more efficiently, who want to see government waste, because these are precious resources. This is a precious commodity. And what we need to do is make sure that we're doing the best we can with the hard-working dollars that we take from people in this country. And so I just want to say, as someone who has signed the pledge, that I am excited. I'm excited about the response I'm getting here at the straw poll today. We feel very, very good that all of the, what happened at the Thursday debate, how many watched the debate on Thursday night? What you saw happen in the Thursday debate is what's been happening for about 6 months of this campaign. I've been over there saying to the national media, hey, there's somebody else in the race. And they just haven't wanted to pay attention. Maybe they didn't want to pay attention because I'm someone, unlike anybody else on the stage the other night, who actually defeated 3 Democratic incumbents to win seats, 2 for the Congress and 1 for the Senate. Maybe they don't want someone who can beat a Democratic incumbent to be the nominee of the Republican Party for president. Maybe they don't want someone who actually went to Washington, D.C. and instead of practicing showmanship, practiced leadership. And actually got things done for the conservative cause. On all the issues. Moral culture, author of the Partial Birth Abortion Ban Act, led the fight year after year after year as Bill Clinton would veto and we would fight back. And one of the important things you need to know about the Partial Birth Abortion Bill. Not only did I author it when it failed, it was struck down by the Supreme Court. But I'm like one of the colleagues of Simon on WHO, Jan Michelson. And what I can tell you is that I didn't just say, well, the Supreme Court struck it down, we got to go next issue. No. When George Bush came to office, I said, look, we now have a president who will sign this bill. Let's tell the Supreme Court who's in charge of deciding what's constitutional in this country. And we passed another bill, the Partial Birth Abortion Ban Act, and in the first 2 sections of the bill, we outlined almost in brief form why the Supreme Court got it wrong and why we're right and they need to change their mind, and they did. So you have someone here who understands what the balance of powers is, and the judicial branch is not supreme. You have someone, they may not like that in the mainstream media. They may not like someone who stands up for moral cultural issues like marriage and the family. They may not like someone who actually has been an advocate and zealous supporter of the state of Israel and passed 2 major pieces of legislation with bipartisan support to accomplish that. And they may not like someone who actually knows how to reform and cut entitlement programs and get bipartisan support to do it. I did. I was the author of the welfare reform bill, and we passed it, and Bill Clinton signed it, and half the Democratic caucus voted for it. and it cut the welfare rolls in half, and it saved billions and billions of dollars on the federal level. So I'll just share that with you, that you have an opportunity, obviously, to vote for the candidates who support the pledge. But you want to vote for a candidate who can go and get the job done and lead in Washington, D.C., not just on Lean Six Sigma, but on eliminating programs that don't need to be there in the first place. And I'll do it, and I'd appreciate your support down there at the Hilton Inn. Thank you all very much. God bless you. And I'll turn it over to you, Mike.
Thank you very much. Good job, Rick.
Well, that was good. Now, you've got to tell me one thing, first of all, Senator, because you've told me now 3 times. You're running around quoting me. Exactly what are you quoting?
Well, I'm quoting Simon because what I talk about in all my speeches that when I have a little bit more than 7 or 8 minutes is I talk about the biggest issue that confronts this country is the issue of losing our freedom because of Obamacare. Obamacare is a game changer for this country. It will take free people and make them dependent upon the federal government. It will take free people. If you look at what the Democrats did when they jammed down Obamacare, down the throats of the American public, they knew this was going to be a loser for them. Nancy Pelosi couldn't even have the honesty of saying what was in the bill because they knew once you knew, you would be opposed to it. And they knew they would lose the House, probably the Senate. But they were willing to do it. Why? Why would they be willing to do it? Because it's something they'd wanted to do for 100 years. Because they've looked at all the other countries around the world who did it, and one thing happened. People lost their freedom. And government. Look at what happened just 2 weeks ago when we were at the debt ceiling increase and Obama was backpedaling. What's the first thing he did? He went on a national news conference and he looked at the eyes of seniors and said, they're going to take your Social Security benefits away. Call Congress. Medicare recipients, we're going to take your benefits away. Veterans, they have hooks into you and they pull the string when they need you. And I was talking about Simon when I always quote Margaret Thatcher, who said that the reason she was never able to accomplish what Reagan accomplished was because of the British national health care system. And Simon said, that's right, he was there. And in every speech, she would give this great talk about conservatism and anti-socialism, but she would always say,
the National Health Service is safe in my hands.
And so that's what I would quote Simon as I traveled around the state of Iowa, that we went to the point where even the most conservative Iron Lady of conservatism could not buck the dependency that national health care has. That's why we must win this election.
Yep. Let me ask you this, Senator. How do you think the debate went for you the other night?
Well, like I said, I know I happen to have a BlackBerry in my back pocket and not supposed to have anything on, but I didn't have a watch. And so we went through 2 breaks, and I thought, I've had one question. And I looked at the BlackBerry, I just turned it on to look at the time and then turned it right back off. And we were almost an hour into the debate, and I had one question. I mean, I thought I was at a Minnesota debate when I was up there. And eventually I sort of waved my hand and said, there's other folks here. And they said, oh, you'll be next. Well, 2 questions later, I finally got a question. And the two of the other questions, I had to butt in and say, I want to talk. Ron Paul's talking about my bill. And you're not letting me comment on it. And so what did they do, though? This is, I said they Huckabeed me. What they do is they pass me up on all the healthcare economic questions, and because I've been a vocal advocate for life and the family, they asked me all the social conservative questions. And those were at the end of the debate, and they said, oh, he had equal time. Yeah, sure, I had equal time on all the hot-button social conservative questions. But they didn't let me engage in the things that I wanted to talk to the American public about, everything. And so what I call our campaign is the little engine that could campaign. We're the campaign that just said, you know what, we're not the shiny, bright engine that say, ooh, look at this great figure. He might be a great, or she might be a great president, or she might be able to do this, as they shine their shiny engine and stroll by. We just hitched up the caboose and hitched up the train, and we just started up the mountain. 110 town hall meetings in Iowa. I've been to Iowa more than everybody else plus 2. I've been to the same thing in New Hampshire and in South Carolina. And I'm trusting that the people who actually decide this race, which are the folks sitting here in front of me, will tell the folks in Washington, stop shoving folks down our throats and let us decide by letting us hear all the candidates. And if you vote for me today, you will make that very loud and clear to the folks in Washington and New York.